All right, America's longest war claims 3 more lives as the Taliban takes potential blow. The former Trump campaign chairman was once viewed as a key witness for the special counsel's investigation into alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia during the presidential election. Well, tonight, correspondent Garrett Tenney has the very latest on Manafort and on author Jerome Corsi dealing with new allegations involving WikiLeaks.
Tonight, prosecutors reportedly believe author Jerome Corsi tipped off Republican strategist Roger Stone months before WikiLeaks released thousands of emails stolen from Hillary Clinton's campaign. That's according to a document drafted as part of a plea offer to Jerome Corsi obtained by the Washington Post. The document quotes Corsi as saying, "A friend in embassy plans 2 more dumps." He added that the impact of the release was planned to be very damaging. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been living in the Ecuadorian embassy in London since 2012. Corsi said he's rejected the offer to plead guilty to a false statements charge. He says he didn't knowingly mislead investigators.
This is a political winch hunt. Because I did not have a contact with Assange, but yet had figured out that Assange had Podesta's emails, and I figured it out and told Roger Stone and told many people in August.
Former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort also reportedly involved with Julian Assange. According to the British newspaper The Guardian, he met with Assange on at least 3 occasions in 2013, 2015, and most importantly, in March of 2016, just before he joined the Trump campaign. Manafort blasts the report as totally false. President Trump weighing in tonight, tweeting, "The Mueller witch hunt is a total disgrace." Echoing similar tweets this morning. Wait until it comes out how horribly and viciously they are treating people, ruining lives for them refusing to lie. Mueller is a conflicted prosecutor gone rogue. His press secretary questioned in today's White House briefing whether a pardon could be in the offing for Manafort if he holds out.
I'm not aware of any conversations for anyone's pardon involving this process at all.
Tonight, though, the president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, didn't rule out the possibility of a pardon, telling the Wall Street Journal right now would not be the time, but he added Manafort should get the same consideration as anyone else. And Shannon, of course, this wouldn't be able to come until after the investigation's over. We've been saying that it's close to over for over a year now, so we'll see if that actually happens.
We're standing by.
Yeah.
All right, Garrett, thank you.
Got it.
All right, so let's break this down with tonight's Power Panel. Former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Harry Litman, Fox News contributor Guy Benson, and former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Tom Dupree. Gentlemen, welcome to all of you.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
Okay, so let's start with Jerome Corsi first. I mean, there is a document online that's supposed to be what they were working on, allegedly drafting before this plea deal with the Mueller team fell apart. It references people not by name, but it would seem to suggest we're talking about WikiLeaks and Julian Assange and all kinds of other key players here. Harry, Corsi says he's not going to agree to this because he's not going to lie. Where do we go from here?
Well, first, I kind of doubt that. He's a fabulist from way back. I think it's more likely that Mueller doubted Corsi's probity. Corsi himself was saying he forgot about this until this new evidence came out. But where do we go from here? Potentially, he forces Mueller to an indictment of both him and Stone, which will take longer, and he had hoped before to go from Corsi to get him to cooperate as against Stone. Now there's the prospect of a trial involving both.
All right, Tom, do you think that we end up, if these two gentlemen end up getting indicted, getting in serious trouble, do you think it will be a process crime, or do you think that they're going to get in trouble on substance? Because most of what we've seen from the Mueller team has been people who said something, wanted to change their statement, or said something else, that they lied to federal agents.
Yeah, I tend to think it would be more of a process foul here, Shannon. I mean, look, the fact is Mueller and his team have been talking to these people for a long time. When the Mueller people talk to you, they ask a lot of questions, and you have to be absolutely precise in your answers. It wouldn't totally shock me if over the course of these interviews they said something that the Mueller team now thinks they could use as ammunition to get a plea to a false statement charge. We've seen many cases where they don't go the substantive route because they think that might be a too difficult case to prove, but they wind up getting a plea to a false statement or something along those lines. Wouldn't surprise me if that's how this plays out here.
Okay, Guy, today from thehill.com, the headline is Manafort plea decision represents setback for Mueller. Goes on to say, quote, the decision to call him out as a liar effectively takes his testimony off the table, removing a valuable asset for the government. The Mueller team now saying, listen, the guy's been lying to us since we went into this plea deal, and so let's go ahead and sentence him. He's not cooperating with us. But by identifying him as a liar, does it take away some of the sheen off of him as a potential witness against the president or the campaign?
Yeah, definitely. If he was going to be called in a trial, all the defense would have to say is, look, the prosecution, Mueller's own team says this guy's a liar. Not only did he lie to them repeatedly, after he made the plea deal, he kept lying to them and put all this other stuff in jeopardy. He's reckless. He doesn't tell the truth. And look, Mueller and his team, they're not stupid people. They knew that. They're well aware of what I just said, and yet they still move forward anyway with this very public shaming, basically blowing up this plea deal that they had reached with Manafort. So a very fascinating few days involving quite a colorful cast of characters in this whole saga.
Yeah, and Harry, today there was a report that alleged that Manafort had met a number of times with Julian Assange. He had contact with him at key points before joining the Trump campaign. He's absolutely flatly denying this tonight, saying it's totally false and deliberately libelous. He says he's never met him or anyone connected to him. He and WikiLeaks also now apparently considering legal action against The Guardian, which published this story. What do you make of it?
Well, the first thing is we're going to be able to figure this out. Anybody who went in or out of the Ecuadorian embassy, we will know. But you're right. There have been some very remarkable twists and turns to both Corsi and Manafort over the last few days. The bottom line, though, is it looks pretty solid that the Russian attempt to meddle with the election has now come to American shores. It seems there's pretty strong reason to believe that among these three, Manafort, Corsi, Stone, were people who knew what was happening. And from there, did they speak to the president? We don't know. But this one seemed explosive when it came out. The Guardian has walked it back slightly. It's a little bit puzzling how it's left because it's so straightforward to either prove it or not. The fact that Manafort denies it, though, at this point, I don't think tells us much. He is, as Tom just said, a pretty dishonest fellow.
Well, he has been absolutely unequivocal with this denial, as have Corsi and Stone. So we'll see how that plays out. Tom, I want to ask you about this New York Times report tonight that Mueller's legal team has been talking with Manafort and finding out that Manafort's team has actually been briefing the president's legal team about his conversations with Mueller. Does that strike you as unusual? Nobody's tonight saying it's illegal.
Yeah, I don't think I would go so far as to say it's illegal. I suppose it is a little unusual, but frankly, there's nothing in this whole saga that has really gone according to script. And look, I mean, the fact is that Manafort obviously retains at least some residual loyalty to the president. I'm sure that the president's legal advisors are very interested in the sorts of questions that Mueller is asking Manafort. So it doesn't shock me that they would at least be interested in opening that line of inquiry. If I were Manafort, I might want to be a little careful, though, about how much information you share. The president's lawyers are no doubt trying to get a roadmap as to what Mueller knows, what he doesn't know, possibly preparing for the president for potentially someday an interview with Mueller if that were to occur.
Quick final word to you, Guy.
Well, the thing that I'm fascinated by, Shannon, and the developments of the day, well, I mean, basically everything that has just been said is fascinating, especially with the Manafort piece of it. And I guess I'll leave it there because there are so many roads to go down, Shannon. I don't want to get us too up on a hard break here.
Yeah, there are endless possibilities for all the key players here. We will continue to watch it with your help. Harry, Guy, and Tom, thank you very much.
Sure thing.
Thanks, Shannon.